Well, you're right on time for breaking today. Good evening from where you're watching us from. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Tracy Dorcas. On a day that the Ministry of Health has announced 64 new COVID-19 cases, 55 recoveries and 4 deaths. We have a lot in line for you and these are our top stories. Education CS George Magoha says no child will be accepted in schools without a mask ahead of reopening of schools on Monday 4th. The battle for control of the Rift Valley took another twist after youths barred the Baringo Senator Gideon Moi from attending a meeting with the Talai Council elders who were set to install him as an elder and spokesman for the Kalenjin community. Maendeleo Chapchap to field candidates for various upcoming by-elections across the country as the party seeks to consolidate national support ahead of the next year's general election. Well, be sure to reach us via 111 444 111. But starting us off, of course, in the now on matters Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha now says that the government is fully prepared for the resumption of learning. Speaking while on an inspection tour at Kibera Primary School ahead of schools reopening next week Monday, Magoha warned that no child will be admitted to school without a face mask. Majibu Kisau with the details.
It is now clear with no doubts that learning will resume on Monday 4th the year 2021 for learners in primary, secondary and tertiary institutions.
The government is fully prepared and the Kenyan children shall return to school.
Education CS George Magoha has confirmed this while on an inspection tour at Kibera Primary School here in Nairobi, where he has asked schools all over the country to observe the COVID-19 protocols so as to ensure safety of learners.
Perhaps the schools that do not have capacity to buy liquid soap should just buy bar soap and it should be there with flowing water. And when that is there, if there is a sanitizer, well and good. If there is none, that is good enough for us to say the child will be safe as long as the child washes the hands for 20 seconds and after visiting the toilets. For those schools that can afford sanitizers, they are welcome.
Magoha has further warned against sending learners away over fees. He said that teachers should be considerate of parents whose livelihoods were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has greatly affected many financially since the first case was reported in the country in March.
So there are Kenyans who may have a little challenge to come with the exact amount of fees that is required for the boarding houses. Can we be human in the way we deal with them? And those that cannot afford at all, let us be able to understand that you don't send children home to go and do nothing. They have already been home for a long, long time. I'm asking the teachers to do what I usually do, to disregard reports, take a ride to the home and see whether this family you are sending the child back to, the child can raise the money. If the child cannot raise the money, together with us, together with the government, we'll start looking for another small scholarship.
Kenya reopened schools partially in October 2020 for Form 4 Class 8 candidates and Grade 4. The rest of the students are now expected to report back to school. The CS has also affirmed that the government had transferred students whose schools were submerged during the rainy season, noting that no student will miss school. Majibu Kisao for Switch TV.
With just a day left for the students to resume learning after a break of close to 9 months since the onset of COVID-19 in the country, our news desk got an opportunity to speak with parents, and it has emerged that the parents are having a mixed reaction on the decision by the government based on how prepared they are.
Niko na mtoto na lazima ataenda shule. Kwa hakika ni challenge kubwa kwa sababu mambo ya uchumi na vile mnaelewa kwamba tumekuwa na challenge ya kazi, wazazi wengi hawana kazi na wale wako na kazi pia mahitaji ni mengi. Kwa hivyo itabidi tupeleke watoto shule, lakini kwa hakika ni challenge kubwa kwa mtu.
Nataka watoto warudi shule lakini sina uwezo. Sababu school fees, mambo ya corona, kazi hakuna. Watoto wanatusumbua nyumbani.
Corona imetuhangaisha sana. siwezi nikaunga mkono kozi ya jipanga hiyo Monday watoto warudi shule. Wangetupea muda kidogo, hata kama ni wiki moja ndio tujipange, ndio alafu watoto warudi shule.
Shifting gears now to matters politics, Baringo Senator Gideon Moi today encountered a group of youths who blocked him from meeting with the Talai clan elders in Nandi. The turn of events is alleged to have been caused by the intensifying rivalry between him and the Deputy President William Ruto over control of the Kalenjin community ahead of the 2022 polls. The dramatic blockade of Senator's convoy by the youth, apart from being a top trend today, has also emerged or witnessed a division among a section of Tanga politicians. Daniel Karuki with the full details.
Baringo Senator Gideon Moi's morning trip to meet Talai clan elders in Nandi was cut short after this group of youths blocked his convoy, forcing it to reverse. These youths blocking roads leading to Kapsisiwa at the Sangalo-Kabiet route, where Gideon had been invited by a section of elders led by Christopher Koyogi for blessings amid intensifying rivalry between him and the DP over control of the Kalenjin community ahead of the 2022 elections. Talai elders had last year met Deputy President William Ruto and blessed him as the Kalenjin spokesman and leader, something that this section of elders criticized, arguing that DP's visit had no blessings from the community.
Moi atakanyaga hii area. Kama nataka mtu yao aite, mimi sina haja na mtu ya mtu. Hata Ruto nani nilikuwa naleta kwa Kapsisiwa kwanza mbeleni. Mimi nilimwambia Ruto akuje kujengia sisi lab. Na hawa wengine hawajui Ruto alikuja Kapsisiwa lini.
According to the elders, this was an official ceremony and the rest were sideshows, saying that they are bona fide Talai members who are from the clan, which is known for anointing leaders. Further noting that they will still continue with the ceremony, giving warning to those who blocked the ceremony.
Nilialika Gideon Moi kama rafiki yangu. Hii ni mwaka mpya. Nilitaka yeye mkuja hapa kwangu, tuongee na yeye, alafu tusukume hii area ya Kapsisiwa ni kidogo.
The elders claiming that government officials and some MCAs used youth to block the roads leading to Christopher Koyogi, and elders who were supposed to administer the ceremony vowing to still install Gideon Moi as the kingpin to Kalenjin.
Barabara ya Kimondi, barabara ya Sironoi, barabara ya Sangalo. Tena hawa ni vijana ya Kimondi ambaye chief mwenyewe anachochea. Chief ya Kimondi ndio mwenye hii maneno.
Gideon, however, had to personally talk to the youth and urge them not to be rowdy, as he had the right to visit the region like any other Kenyan.
Sisi kama vijana tumekataa. Yule mtu tunajua kama wakaaji wa area ama vijana ni William Samoei Ruto, hatujui mwingine. Sisi tumeamua kitu kimoja. Kuna wazee wamechezea jamii ya Talai kila mara.
It is actually very funny for such kind of a person not to realize that he is not wanted in Kapsisiwa.
Gideon's saga topping trends on social media also witnessed a section of leaders condemning each other. Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria calling out the youths who are presumed to be Deputy President William Ruto supporters by saying, and I quote, "I have received reports that the Senator Gideon Moi was blocked by Nandi residents from visiting Talai elders this morning. This is backward. This is wrong. This is the Kenya that we left behind in 2007 to 2008. End of quote. However, Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen took issue with his fellow Tanga politician for defending Moi, saying it was fate paying back to the Kano leader for blocking Ruto from seeing his father, the late President Daniel Moi. The senator was, however, forced to turn back and proceeded to Kabiet Trading Center to interact with other youth before he left the area. Daniel Kariuki for Switch TV.
Meanwhile, Kandara Member of Parliament Alice Wahome is accusing President Uhuru Kenyatta of plotting to remain in power indefinitely by effecting constitutional amendments through the BBI. Wahome now opines that if the constitution is to be amended, then there should be a provision barring a president who has served his term from running for any office that has executive powers.
Kenyans will regret for a long time if we allow the executive or His Excellency Mr. President, with the help of hired political mercenaries, and there are several of those people who are praying around there, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga being one of those people, Mr. Murathe, Mr. Atuori, and others that you have seen. Mr. President attempt to force a constitutional amendment is the highest level of betrayal of the oath of office that he took, and the Constitution he swore to defend and protect. He should not be allowed to extend his power, his stay in power, in whatever form, whether direct or indirect or through proxy. It is a moment that His Excellency the President admitted that he has made costly economic and physical policy blunders or mismanagement.
Still on matters politics, Maendeleo Chapchap Party leader Dr. Alfred Mutua has announced that his party will field candidates for the various upcoming by-elections across the country as the party seeks to consolidate national support ahead of the next year's general election. Mutua revealed his party was particularly focused to ensure its candidate for the senatorial by-election, or that is former cabinet minister Mutua Katuku, carries the day in the March 23rd mini-polls. Katuku was unveiled last week as the Maendeleo Chapchap Party's prospective flag-bearer for the senatorial by-election.
Important is for people to hear what we are saying. Send your document, because the candidate, and we have already... No, the one for Tuesday.
Hivyo pia tumejadili kuhusu zile campaign ambazo zinaendelea. Tunajua kwamba kuna by elections zinazokuja upande wa Western, upande wetu hapa wa Ukambani, upande mwingine wa Central, upande mwingine, na sisi kama chama tumeamua ya kwamba katika kila by election tutasimamisha mtu aweze kushindana katika hiyo by election na chama chetu cha Maendeleo Chapchap. Hapa Machakos tulimpoteza senator wetu Kabaka, na tukaamua ya kwamba sisi na kiongozi ambaye ni senator mtarajiwa Mheshimiwa Mutua Katuku tutamuunga mkono, tutaanza campaign. Wakati wa campaign ukifika tutaanza. Kwa hivyo tumekutana hivi leo pia tukaanza kujadili vile tutaweza kumpamba na vile tutaweza kumtengeneza na vile tutaweza kumshirikiana na yeye kabisa, kwa sababu hiki kiti ni kiti cha maana sana na kinahitaji mtu ambaye ana msimamo kama wake, mtu ambaye kwa Kiingereza wanasema mature leader who can really do great things for our county of Machakos.
Away from that, security officers from Mathira East in Nyeri County have a reason to smile after church recognized their work by awarding them presents. Led by the OCPD James Baraza, the security officers received certificates and cash rewards from the congregation of Victor's Chapel, led by the bishop, or rather by the bishop, Reverend William Githinji. Speaking during the event, William said that the church decided each year to honor police officers since few appreciate their good work of providing security to Kenyans.
Today we have invited the officers of our county, Mathira, and especially the Mathira East sub-county. And the reason we've invited them is just to let them know that we appreciate them. I think most of the times we look at officers like our enemies and nobody really recognizes the work that they do. We're just coming from the Christmas season and the festive time. These people don't do that. They are busy and nobody ever tells them, guys, you're doing a good work. And as a church, we decided that we need to be calling them, do lunch together, appreciate them, and let them know that they are part of us. We appreciate the good work they're doing, and just to give them morale to tell them we are together. That's why we're here today.
Upande wa usalama, nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa sababu ushirikiano wetu pamoja na wananchi kupitia kwa community policing na nyumba 10 initiative tuliweza kufaulu sana kuweka usalama, tulipunguza visa vya uhalifu, na pia katika wakati wa sherehe za mwaka mpya, za Christmas na mwaka mpya, tuliweza kuwa pamoja na wao kushirikiana na usalama ukaweza kuhudumishwa. Na tunawaomba kwa mwaka huu pia tuweze kushikana pega kwa pega kama vile bishop wetu amefanya hapa hivi, kutuunga mkono na kututambua ili tuweze kusonga mbele, tumalize mwaka huu tena vizuri bila uhalifu mwingi.
Well, we are due for a short commercial break, but before that, on our Facebook page, that is Switch TV Kenya, I'm having Emmanuel Simiyu saying he's watching from Kihoto, Naivasha. Aisha Musa also watching from Mumias and Karani, saying he's watching. Be sure to reach us also via 111 444 111. We'll be back with more stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Breaking Today. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Tracy Edorcas. And of course, now let's get the latest from the world of business. Now, Europe has finalized an agreement with China that is designed to rebalance trade with the world's second largest economy, despite U.S. concerns that the deal could be counterproductive. Brussels and Beijing have been negotiating the comprehensive agreement on investment for 7 years, but talks gathered pace in recent months ahead of a joint deadline that was established for the end of 2020. Negotiations were completed on Wednesday during a video conference with Chinese President Xi Jinping and EU officials, according to a statement from the European Commission. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Twitter, and I quote, "The European Union has the largest single market in the world. We are open for business, but we are attached to reciprocity, rather a level playing field and values." time to now get sporty. Known to be a hotbed of sporting talent, Kenya has a great representation across the continent in various fields. A gift that keeps on giving, it continues to sprout new faces, mainly from the grassroots. Now leveraging on this is Angaza Soccer Academy that has put out its resources into enhancing social integration and tapping into talents, whilst they're young, nurturing future legends in football, while cutting out on the gap between the rich and the poor. Our reporter Ivy Kavai compiled the following story. Take a look.
Angaza Soccer Academy came into life in 2017. 3 years down the line, the academy is home to about 100 young boys and girls with an immense passion in football. Registered under the Football Kenya Federation, the academy is keen in making a change in the lives of young lads coming from the less fortunate homes.
Angaza Soccer is a football club registered with the Football Kenya Federation, FKF, Nairobi West Branch. It came into being in 2017 with a group of 5 boys whom we were playing at 5 Star next to Wilson Airport. After a few months, courtesy to Technical University of Kenya management, we were given a CSR, the corporate social responsibility, to use their field here at South Sea next to Hino grounds. Since then, the club has grown from 5 players to registered number of 82. And out of these 82 players, 35 of them are players from the less fortunate society around the areas of South Sea. A good number of 22 of them come from Kibera slums. The river in South B.
Children as young as 3 years get to join the Angaza Academy in the under-7 category, and with their growth, the academy hopes to add a new category, the under-15. The organization's uniqueness is that the non-profit academy sustains itself on monthly contributions and grants from well-wishers.
One of our main goals as a club is social integration in our community. We can proudly report, apart from the successes in the football world, we can confidently report on the issues of community integration, where we have managed to uplift the life of some of our less fortunate players. We have managed to, through our sponsors, who are also our parents, we have managed to sponsor a number of players in terms of school uniform, in terms of textbooks and exercise books to enable them to go to school. We also have a food program. Our parents occasionally provide food stuff for these players.
When COVID-19 disrupted the country last year, a lot of children resulted to idling around. Anthony Olwoch is a parent whose son turns up for the academy. He first learnt about the academy from a neighbor, and after thorough investigation about the team's operations and organizations, he opted to register his son. Fast forward, Olwoch attests to how life-changing the experience has been for his son.
He has really improved in terms of talent, and actually he never showed any interest in football. He used to do a lot of skating and competing skating. So I didn't expect him to be good in football, but there's a lot of growth in it, and I'm seeing that in future he might become a good professional footballer. He has really improved even in terms of relating with other friends or other kids. What I'll advise other parents is that it's good to give our children the chance. I think when we used to grow up, we used to have these chances. But nowadays, most of the kids that just spend their time maybe in the estate, watching TV, exchanging the issues of phones. It's good for in terms of health, because I remember my son used to be a bit sickly, but his health improved. Nowadays, I don't have issues with him. And I would like to encourage parents that to join in the sports, to give motivation to their kids, and sometimes even come to see how their kids are playing.
For the last 3 years, Angaza Soccer has been the undefeated champions of the East Africa Chipukizi Cup and has generated best players in the Rising Stars League competitions. Brian Mushangi, A grade 8 student at Mbagathi Road Primary School is the under-15 Angaza Soka goalkeeper. Dubbed Angaza 1, the enthusiastic bloke who hopes to become a professional goalkeeper locally looks up to Patrick Mantasi and Manchester United De Gea internationally.
Dream yangu ya kwanza nikaa kuwa Kenya 1, followed by one day niende majuu nicheze huko ball hadi wenye wako majuu tuone wakuja hapa tuchukue tucheze majuu, kwa sababu tumeona tu wa Kenya wameenda kidogo. Tunataka one day hadi tuke like 12 players from Kenya tucheze majuu.
Mushangi, who has been playing since he was 6, is an advocate against drug abuse among the youth and always doing the right thing. Passionate about fulfilling his dreams, he looks back at how the academy has impacted his life.
Mimi Angaza venye menjenga, first ni shule ano nasimamia, kila kitu ya shule ano nasimamia. Sometimes tukiwa na shida tunaongea na coach anatusaidia, kwa sababu yeye ndo karibu hapa ka coach wetu, tunamuelewa na tumezoeana na coach. Na pia tukiwa na kashida kadogo tunamwambia. Angaza kitu kingine imetusaidia ni kama venye tuko mtaa. Wote imetusaidia kwa kugain ball. Hii ball yetu tumegain sana. Ukiangalia venye tulianza kucheza hii ball, hatukuwa tumecheza kibuda, but venye coach alikuja akatuonesha tukajua kucheza hii ball.
Steve Ocheso has coached in Angaza Soka since its inception. Having 3 permanent coaches and 2 part-time, Ocheso has been with the team the longest and has witnessed the transformation in the children he interacts with.
The journey hasn't been tough and hasn't been easy. As you know, many kids, they have different personalities. When they come, you find the other kids, they can't like interact with the others. So you have to integrate them together to maybe you accommodate them to be equal. Yes, it hasn't been that easy. My goals for them as a coach and as Angaza Soccer Academy, first of all, is to make sure these kids are not loitering on the streets. Another thing, to keep them busy. And another thing is to identify talents. A lot of these kids have talents. So once we bring them together, we identify a lot of them, a lot of talents, we change their discipline-wise, education-wise, yeah.
It is undeniable that children are the future. Here at Angaza Soka lies great talent and potential of Kenyan football tapped from the grassroots. As the Swahili saying goes, Samaki Mkunje angali mbichi. Ivy Kavai, Switch TV Sports.
Well, thank you so much, Ivy Kavai, for that. Crossing borders now, Crystal Palace are currently on the lead with 2 goals against Sheffield United in their Premier League.